these are the numbers of the divisions of the armed troops who came to David in Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul over to him according to the word of the Lord. So the word of the Lord came to David and said, I am now going to make you king in place of Saul. So check out what David does. Because if you look back a little bit, Saul was a madman at this point. He was after David's life, trying to kill him, chasing him around. David knew that Saul wasn't going to go out without a fight. So of the men of Judah, he gets 6,800 armed troops. Then he gets 70,100 men, mighty men of valor, brave men. 4,600 priests. And it just goes numbers down of all the people he got on his side to help overthrow Saul. And in 32 it says this, of Issachar, men who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, 200 chiefs and all of their kinsmen under their command. Before David took on Saul and changed things for Israel, he got 200 men together who knew what was going on in the culture. And that is what we need to be as the church. We need to be like men of Issachar. We need to be the people who understand that culture changes, and we need to be able to embrace that change. Because if we're going to deliver the gospel message to an ever-changing culture, but aren't willing to embrace the changes of the culture or know the changes, then how are we ever going to reach people for Jesus in this ever-changing culture? We need to be relevant. We must understand the changes. So that means we put up some trusses, some lights, we get a kicking band, and we try to reach people in a relevant way for Christ, but not at the expense of the gospel. Because we're still going to preach the word of God. But if we know that we are living in an ever-changing culture, then we need to be real. We need to be able to reach people where they're at. So we need to be able to embrace change as the church. And we cannot be afraid to address the changes. We need to be bold. Too many churches are oblivious, say oblivious, to the moral pit that our culture is rapidly descending into. So many churches won't embrace change. They're just going to stay the way that they are. They're going to do everything the way they've always done things. But what's happening is they're not reaching people for the Lord. And we need to be able to understand what's going on in the culture, be relevant, be bold, and not be oblivious. Because if you take a look around, it's clear to see that we are falling into a moral pit in society. There has been movies that glorify addictions, glorify same-sex relationships, glorify sex outside of marriage. And this is what's being fed to us through the media. And we need to be able, and I'm not saying all media is bad. I'm not here to bash the media or the entertainment industry at all today. And that's not what we're doing through this message, through this series of messages. Because there are a lot of people in the entertainment industry that are trying to do things the right way. They are. They're trying to put out good quality movies that families can go to. But is PG-13 really PG-13? I can't believe some of the things that I hear in PG-13 movies and see. And I'm thinking, when my boys are 13, they're never going to see a movie like that. It's just sad. But as Christians, we need to be the change agents. Because if we're not going to talk about these things inside the church, and if we're not going to be the ones who embrace the change, and if we're not going to be the ones who try to change things for this culture, then who else is going to do it? There's no one left if it isn't for the church. So then what place does the church have in our culture? And just let me say that God's light will shine in the darkness.